Right, hello everyone, and welcome to this first episode of Friday Football Fix. So this is a brand new kind of show / podcast that we're going to do on the YouTube channel. We'll do it every Friday at 6 p.m. It's basically the aim of it is to get you in the mood for the football at the weekend, give you that bit of a fix on a Friday, ready for a weekend of football. So how it's going to work, you'll always have me and my girlfriend Lizzie, and then probably most weeks we'll try and get a guest on, but if we can't, then it'll just be the two of us. So how are you feeling about getting this show started?
I'm shitting myself.
Yeah?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. So the main thing here, what we're going to do is we're going to have like the main kind of stories from the week. We'll film this a bit earlier in the week to release on Friday, so it's Wednesday night today. So all the kind of main news stories, we'll pick 2 to 3 throughout the week. And then we've both picked a story as well, which isn't kind of one of the main stories, but something we want to talk about. We're going to talk about the club of the people who's on it. So we're both Donny fans, so we'll talk about Donny. And then, for instance, if we have a Sheffield Wednesday fan on, they'll talk about Sheffield Wednesday, etc., etc. And then we're going to do something a bit different. So that could be something that's just something funny that's happened, a nice kind of story that's been on the news, something people might not have heard a lot about. So that's kind of down to us to choose. And then we've got a section called Debate This, where we're going to basically either ask the people on the podcast a question or a topic that we can discuss or something along them lines. So anyway, that is how our show is going to work every Friday. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first story we're going to cover is kind of the biggest one this week, and that is we have just had the Ballon d'Or. So Messi has just won his 8th Ballon d'Or in his career. He just beat Haaland in second and Mbappe in third to the award. So first of all, what do you think about Messi winning his 8th Ballon d'Or?
I like Messi, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But how is Haaland not winning with the amount of goals he's scored? I mean, the MLS is not as competitive in any stretch as the Premier League or any league in Europe, so I'm not sure. I get that they won the World Cup, but Haaland got like 50 goals in a year.
I think
like it's unheard of.
What I've always found is when there's been a big tournament, World Cup, Euros, they're always they always seem to be biased towards it. Like I remember, obviously, when Croatia got to the final, Luka Modric won it, and Jorginho at the Euros, I didn't think he should have been anywhere near that award. I mean, he had a really good season, but no way he beat some of the players below him to come second. I think he came in the end. So yeah, they always seem to go. It's weird. They always seem to go like with a World Cup bias. It seems like that's kind of, especially with FIFA, maybe that's all they kind of judge it on, and then whatever happens elsewhere, it's kind of secondary to that. But yeah, I don't mind Messi winning it because, like I say, at the World Cup he was superb.
I think it's more of a Messi-Ronaldo bias than a World Cup bias.
Yeah, there's that as well.
Messi winning. I mean, I went to the Camp Nou and there's like this huge exhibit of all of his Ballon d'Ors and stuff, and it's like clearly like a massive. It's part of his brand, right?
Yeah,
that's what it's about.
And like you say, it's players and people like that voting as well, so they're gonna. Like Messi's well liked, so
I like him.
Yeah,
don't get me
no,
wrong.
I do as well. I'm a big fan of
Messi over Ronaldo, but
yeah,
I'm still like, how can you get that many goals a year and not win the Ballon d'Or? It seems like
I think
for as long as Messi's playing, will anybody else win it now until he retires? It just seems a bit. Are they going to try and get him to 10 Ballon d'Ors just so he's got 10? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think he's won his last one, but the thing is as well, it's kind of like this is start of November. It was even October when the award ceremony were. So it's kind of like seems like start of November to like the end of October. Kind of how they're doing it, and obviously the World Cup were in that time frame as well.
Haaland also got that many goals in that time frame.
Oh yeah. I'm not disputing that at all, but I'm saying kind of like it's kind of like it happened so early on in the year that. Like recency biased, like Haaland's obviously scored all these goals, which to be fair, I'm same as you. I think Haaland should have won, but I'm just like saying what kind of how I feel, or what's kind of gone through the minds with it, because it's kind of been one of these things with his career, hasn't it? He's always done it for club, but never for country, and then like I say, he won the Copa America, that's the one. He won back with Argentina, and then obviously won the World Cup. So it's kind of like completed his career in a way. And like I say, he had a superb World Cup. I think got Player of the Year. I think he would either tied for or won the Golden Boot. And like I say, he just had such a superb World Cup and it like when he won it, I kind of said like that's Ballon d'Or confirmed, but then you kind of forget the ceremony were just like a month before that for that year. So if it were like right at the end of the year, he probably would have won it for that year. Although Benzema did have a fantastic year to win it.
I like it.
So yeah, it's I personally, like I said, I do think Haaland should have won. He's done it in probably the hardest league in the world,
And in the Champions League as well.
and in the Champions League, like you say. So
He won the treble.
Yeah.
Scored that many goals. It just seems strange to me.
I'm with you. Like I say, I think Haaland should have won it, but I don't personally mind Messi winning it. In my like,
No,
I don't mind it.
He is
but,
the greatest of all time, but like I feel like he's had his time a little bit. Like Billy Sharp's scored more goals than him in the MLS so far.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I'd rather it be someone young and new, but that's just me liking new, young talent.
Yeah, oh no, yeah, definitely. Yeah, so...
slaughter me for that.
Yeah, maybe. But we're all entitled to opinions, aren't we? So, let us know in the comments anyway. Who do you think should have won the Ballon d'Or? Do you agree with Messi winning it? Or have you got anything else to say on this matter? Another thing I'm going to say is kind of, obviously, a top 30 vote. An interesting one for me were Jude Bellingham. He got 18th. What's your thoughts on that?
Next year, he'll win it. I think this year, he's only really broken into like, a bigger European giant in Real Madrid this year, hasn't he? So come next year, he'll have had a full season there. I mean, he scored 10 in 10. So if he keeps that form up going, next year he'll be a much better candidate. Yeah,
I thought with Bellingham, he might have been a bit of a recency bias one because most of his best work has come in these last month or two.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
People like in football, we all know, like people have short memories in football. It's like in management, like you can like lose 3 games in a row and everyone can be calling for a manager's head, and then suddenly they'll win like the next 2 games and they'll be worshipping again. So I thought it'd be kind of like that for Bellingham. I thought, but like I say, he still had a really good season with Dortmund. But then, like I say, he's
not as prolific though as he is now at Real
No,
Madrid.
no, of course not. No,
but if England win the Euros, they'll win the Ballon d'Or definitely.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like you were saying, it's about performance, isn't it? But there's been so few English winners. Like you do wonder if there ever will be more.
Yeah, I can see it. I know obviously there is bias when it comes to voting with FIFA and stuff like that. But like I say, if he's carries on doing what he is doing at Madrid at the minute, I don't think there's going to be any question.
I think the fact that he's at Madrid and not in the Premier League is in his favour as well.
Yeah, I'm always a big...
no one from the Premier League ever wins the Ballon d'Or.
I'm always a big fan of that as well, because you'll notice it like Kane and Bellingham, Sancho when he were over at Dortmund, the press stay away from him. Like, look at Maguire and players like that, and like good English players. They're in in the Premier League, they just get crucified. Because
even Rashford at the minute.
Yeah, Sterling. It's whereas like say being abroad, you've not got, obviously you're doing well, so you have got that attention on you, but you've not got like the press following you around. And I'm going to say, I personally think more players should do it. I think it's best thing for you to get out of the limelight.
Look at Kieran Trippier as well.
Yeah,
he had some time abroad and has come back. And...
Tammy Abrahams, he's scoring for fun at Roma, and he couldn't get anywhere near Chelsea squad, and people, everyone just saying he weren't good enough. So it's like I say, I think Bellingham will be up there. I think, like I say, Haaland will be up there again. Bellingham and
Kane, if he keeps playing the way he does.
I'm going to say,
especially again if we win the Euros.
An English press off his back.
He scored a hat-trick, didn't he? Last week.
Scored from his own half as well.
Yeah.
So
I've never seen him do that. He's always been his own half, but I've never seen him score from that.
Yeah. So like, it's going to be an interesting one next year. But yeah, pretty interesting results to be fair. Like I say, Mbappe as well. He's another one who did superb at the World Cup. It was kind of Messi versus Mbappe in the final.
Can't handle Dan Burn though, can he?
No, of course not.
that's the reason he didn't.
But I'm going to say another one with World Cup.
He won't be far off getting his first.
No, I'm going to say it's going to be interesting with Haaland, Bellingham, and Mbappe. They're going to be, like I say, next few years. They're the three, and then you've got like Vinicius Junior and players like that.
They were going to be Phil Foden, didn't they? But that doesn't seem to have happened.
Yeah, I think Pep Roulette's kind of...
Yeah, not consistent enough,
Yeah, but... Yeah, I'm going to say that's been an interesting talk on Ballon d'Or, because it is always one... Like I say, especially when you've got other players doing for it as well.
But it always sneaks up on me. I never remember when it is. And then suddenly it's on the news.
Because usually what we do is we narrow it down to like a final 30, don't we? Which is what we did this year. And I thought when we said that, that's what we were doing. But no, it just... like I said, heard nothing about it until like the day before, and then here we are. But yeah. Okay, so next up on the Sunday, just gone, we had the Manchester derby, which is always an interesting game because, like say with Man United, you never know what's going on there. There's always some sort of thing, and then City are usually ripping it up every year, and then Man U are sometimes that team who do put a bit of a dent in that run. So yeah, it wasn't the case this time though, because City won at 3-0 at Old Trafford. So what are your thoughts on that?
I just don't think it's that surprising. I mean, I predicted Man United to do a lot better than they've done this season, because on paper they should be a lot better than they are. But unfortunately, it ain't clicking, and Man City are just worlds and worlds above them. You know, Man City will beat any mid-table Premier League team, you know, at home. It doesn't stop them, and that, at the end of the day, that's what it is now. They're not two giants anymore. Man United aren't the team they used to be, are they, basically? And the fans are so angry about it.
Yeah, rightly so at the minute, because they're a mess.
Do you think it's the owners, or do you think it's the players, or Ten Hag, or what?
I'll be honest, I think it's a mixture of all of them, but it always, I say it always, like I say, it always flows from the top, doesn't it?
Yeah, but
you can chop and change the manager and the players all you want, but if it's not right at the top, it's always going to filter down.
But you spend that much in a transfer window, you can't criticise the owners for putting 350 million they put in the summer. Something like that.
Something like
a lot
that,
of money on a lot of players, that it seems to me that it's like, what more can they do? Like, how much money do they need to throw at it? Like, it ain't working, is it? They've bought good players for a lot of money, and it still isn't working. So
yeah, it's been one of them for a while with United. Like I say, they came in mid 2000s, and they've just, fans have never taken to them, and like I say, there's been all sorts, obviously, like protests, and they've never got on with the owners.
I don't know. I just think,
I mean, obviously
they don't know how good they've got it. Do you know what I mean? Like, think of them compared to some of the teams that are in and around us. Your Scunthorpes, your Berries, your Southends, like, it's a different world entirely. Even Everton and teams like that to a lesser extent. I don't think they know how lucky they are sometimes.
I get that, but at the end of the day, it's Manchester United as well. Like, they're supposed to be like the biggest club in the world, and most of the time they're lucky if you even get into the top four. It's obviously under 30 days. It's never going to go back to that. Like, that were just a once in a lifetime kind of manager. But you know, you'd expect, it seems to be inconsistency, because it feels like they're getting better and better and better, and it feels like they're kind of back, not where they were, but like round about where they are, and then all of a sudden just have a massive drop off, and they're back in like 6th or 7th. It's weird, and it just, personally with me, I thought under Ten Hag, I thought, just in terms of like his philosophy and stuff like that, I thought he was the closest thing they've had since Fergie, and I thought he'd want to kind of do that, and it looked like that. We had that blip at the start of the season last year, but then the like I say, they picked up and they looked pretty tough to beat, and they kind of made Old Trafford back into a fortress. But then it seems like things have fallen off a bit this season. I feel like there's something
wrong culturally. Like,
yeah.
Like, you've got to look at Anthony, everything that's going on behind the scene there, his personal life. You've got Sancho, the situation with him. You've got Rashford out partying after losing 3-0 in the Manchester derby, out on the pull. You know, that kind of thing must be coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
But I don't know where, but there's clearly some, like a bad apple or a... Because everyone thought it was Ronaldo, didn't they? First of all, everybody thought it was Paul Pogba. Then everybody thought it was Ronaldo. And it's clearly neither, and there's not really any of them big personalities there anymore that could be to blame for it. So there's obviously something deeper culturally, I don't know what.
Yeah.
Ain't good.
No, it's a weird one, and like I say, it's similar like Bruno Fernandes. I think he's not the best of captains.
United goes to people's heads.
It's a heavy shirt. It's a heavy shirt to wear.
But also, it's a shirt that wearing might make you arrogant.
Yeah, I think quite a lot of the players they have brought in have already had that reputation as well.
People our age, probably not so much nowadays.
Yeah.
When they're kids and they want to be footballers, they say, "You want to play for Man United?"
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So if you get to that, you're going to be a bit arrogant and you're probably going to have a bit of an ego and an attitude or whatever. Whereas like now, I guess it's probably Man City, people would say.
Yeah.
Or Newcastle.
Get that way. Yeah, it's... Yeah, like I say, it's just... Everything Fergie created, that were like what Man United's supposed to be. And then obviously, you've had managers after him, like Moyes, Van Gaal, Mourinho, and... You know, it's different.
Is it poison chalice though, like in the same way Leeds was when Don Revit left? Like the expectation is just too high. Like it's never going to be that good again. Man United were always the underdogs when our parents were growing up. Liverpool won the league every year, and Man United didn't.
Yeah.
You know, like football is cyclical, and maybe it's just a bit. It's time for them to just not be as up there as they were 20 years ago.
So moving back to the Manchester derby on Sunday then, so it finished 3-0 to City at Old Trafford, and it was just one of them. First half, I only tuned in at the start of the second half. Apparently, at first half, it was a bit more even until the penalty. And then in the second half, it was one of them where City were just relentless. Like, just doing what City do, basically. Like you say. And United couldn't deal with him. Haaland getting 2 goals and an assist, which was lovely for my fantasy team captaining them. But yeah, United, the players just completely lost their head. And I'd be, like I say, if I were a United fan, I'd be quite embarrassed watching that, to be fair. I mean, like Anthony just kicking out at, the City player, and, Fernandes losing his head. Rashford on an off game. It would just seemed ugly. It just seemed like an ugly Man United. And like we were saying earlier, like something's terribly wrong at that club. And like I say, it doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. Okay, so some of it's kind of been in the news. It happened a few weeks ago, but still thought it'd be a good one to bring in here, and that is Wayne Rooney going to Birmingham City. So I kind of felt like John Eustace were a bit hard done by it, to be fair. Birmingham was 6th in the Championship when he got sacked, and it's one of them every other season. Before he came in, they've been fighting relegation. He came in last year, and like I say, they were fair bit clear, going on towards mid-table, and he's got them up really high, and then they got him out for the publicity stunt, basically, in my opinion. And he's come in, he's lost his first 3 games in a row, now 14th, 5 points away from the playoffs, and it's a bit of a change in direction for Birmingham. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, same as you, really.
Yeah, I feel a bit bad for Rooney, to be fair. I don't think it's necessarily his fault. I mean, he did all right at Derby. You kind of, he kept him up.
Yeah, but they were a mid-tables quality Derby team.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think he did do all right at Derby. I think people just say that because he's a big name.
Yeah, I think it's one of them though. He
took a mid-table Derby team into a relegation battle.
Yeah, but I know there were a lot going on.
Yeah, but they were still better quality than relegation fodder.
Yeah, well, it's just with issues going off behind club, and like, it's like when you have got issues that deep and stuff like that, it's gonna rub off. And
half of them issues were to do with him being appointed. It were all dodgy betting deals, wasn't it, that got them in the shit they were in.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't really think he should have a job in the UK. Certainly not at that high level. It annoys me when that happens. Like same thing with Frank Lampard and John Terry and people like that. Like you've got no proven history as a manager. Why are you still getting jobs when talented managers aren't able to get out of League 1 and 2 to get into the Championship? I mean, how long has it taken Darren Moore to get a Championship job despite his CV being so good? And there's plenty of examples of that. I just think it's all money motivated, and it's the same people, isn't it, that were involved in the 32 red stuff at Derby that are involved in bringing him in here. And it just smells of just dodgy and just a stupid decision to sack a boyhood fan who's got you 6th in the Championship, which is no easy feat given the size of the club and the size of clubs that are usually up there.
It's one of them. I feel a bit bad for Rooney because I feel like it's the owners. They've seen a publicity stunt and they've just gone for it. Like you say,
I don't feel bad for him. Think about how much he's probably getting paid.
Yeah, we all a bit, but it's like he's been kind of put in this situation. Like I say, John Eustace, Birmingham fan, doing a superb job there, got him out of the trouble that they were in, and we've just chucked him out and threw away key to his door. It's I don't agree with that at all. But we'll have to see if we can turn it around, to be fair, because, like I say, we're dropping quickly. And, you thought we'd turn a corner. Like I say, new owners, positive season last season, moving in the right direction. And, it's one that you can tell the fans aren't happy with it. So we'll have to see how it goes with that, really. Right, so the main stories out of the way, so now we're going to move on to kind of a topic we both picked, and then we're going to discuss it. So, do you want to go first this week, or shall I go first?
You go first.
Me go first? Right, okay then. So I've picked Sheffield Wednesday. So I've got a few different things to discuss with Sheffield Wednesday. First one that I originally thought of was they got the first win of the season on Sunday. They beat Rotherham by 2-0, but...
in what my dad would refer to as the can both teams lose derby.
Exactly. And literally this year as well. Mm-hmm. But it would kind of sour a bit, and you could kind of sense behind the scenes that there was some, it wasn't great.
Well,
even
there
though
were whisperings, weren't there, of HMRC unpaid debt, and then the free season transfer embargo that would follow if that was not paid.
Yeah.
And that was obviously made public before kick-off. Mm-hmm. So there was a little bit of unease there, wasn't there?
Yeah, it kind of overshadowed the win a bit in a way. But I think Wednesday, it was a weird one for Wednesday fans because they've not won in so long.
Yeah, they're so
First
happy
points
about
on the
Danny
board.
Roll, aren't they?
Yeah, and but then there's kind of these bigger issues clouding over that as well. And then just the other day, like I say, Chansiri is already early in the season come out and said he's not pumping any more money into the team, and then he's also...
But he said that, and it was bollocks, because 2 days later, he paid Cisco Munoz off and his old coaching staff, and then brought in a presumably expensive manager and an even more expensive coaching staff with really experienced high-level coaches. So in 1 minute he says he's not putting any more money in, and then literally in the next breath, he's spunking millions of pounds on bringing in a new management team and sacking the other one. So he needs to decide which is the truth. Sorry, it is a fucking nut job. Yeah. Sorry.
True. It is a nut job. It is a nut job. But I'm going to say, this week it's come out, it's kind of said, like I say, we've got £2 million worth of debt we need to pay to HMRC, and he wants the fans to do it. So he said each fan, he wants them to pay £100 towards it and get them, out of this legal trouble so we don't get any points deducted. It's...
I think what I said a moment ago, that he's a fucking nut job, is probably about right for that.
True.
The fact of the matter is that he charges the highest ticket prices in the Championship by some margin, higher than Leicester, Leeds, Southampton. Bigger, more recently successful clubs are charging a lot less than Sheffield Wednesday are, and their fans are coming in their tens of thousands, paying £50 for a ticket, if not more, to watch them lose every game except one. This, they've got 2 draws and a win, and then the rest losses, I think, something like that. They've only won 1 game. They've got 6 points on the board. 3 draws then.
3 draws,
Maths. Sorry. Yep. They've got 6 points on the board, and people are still going in there. There were 29,000 there against Rotherham.
Yeah.
And what's that then? 60 times 29,000. That must be close to his 2 million in gate alone.
Exactly. Yeah.
So he just needs to get a grip. I understand that sometimes football fans can be expectant of billionaires to fund their hobby, and that's not necessarily how it always works. You've got to give something as well, which all football fans do, but there's a line with that.
Yeah.
If our owner went and said that, they just wouldn't. There is no other owner in the Football League who would say something so batshit crazy other than Chansiri, and how he passed the fit and proper person test when he went in to buy Sheffield Wednesday however many years ago is beyond me, because everything about this guy, from the minute he took over, he's off his rocker. When John Ryan, who was already owned Rovers before, and Louis Tomlinson couldn't take over Doncaster Rovers because they weren't fit and proper, but this loon can. How's that work then? I just think it's not just a failing of his, it's a failing of the system.
Well, I'm going to say, you say no other owner and do that. But what? there's some nut jobs out there.
Not that, I don't think there's very many as mental as Chansiri though.
True. But I think it's a bit of realism at the end of the day. It's we've not got a magic one where we can just magic cash in. But like you say, it's just you just want the basics. You just want to be able to obviously have a squad, have money pumped in that's kind of like relative to their level in a way. It's like, if you're like a big club on Wednesday, you don't want to be like splashing penals, but then at the end of the day, you're not expected to like compete with City. It's like, it's knowing where you are. Like I say,
it's false promises.
You're a championship club that, and it's just a weird one at the minute because, like you say, it's they're not asking absolute will of them. It's just, keep them running at a decent level, and just be honest with them and meet their expectations. That's the bread and butter of it, in my opinion.
Cash flow issues is the problem, but then actually has come out today as of recording, which is the 1st of November, and said that actually things can change in 24 hours, and now I don't need you all to pay me £100 because I found that money, which to me suggests he was just trying to make a point and antagonise the fans again. And as much as I dislike Sheffield Wednesday, I know they're antagonising their own fans. It's like Peter Swan at Scully, isn't it? It's the same, and the fella that came after him.
Yeah, it looks to make a quick buck wherever they can, like saying, prove a point, like.
And the other thing, I feel like, actually I've got that. The other thing that I think Wednesday need, is somebody to manage that money more efficiently and more effectively than how Chansiri does. Because the reason they ain't got any money left to spend is because he's wasted it time and time again. Having to pay Darren Moore off, bringing in somebody who isn't fit for purpose in Cisco, signing a new team of players for Cisco who now probably won't get a look in because they're not good enough for the league, having to bring in a new coaching staff, probably have to spend more in January. It's a waste of money, it's mismanagement of his resources, and that's where I think, might be controversial, Doncaster Rovers have got it right, because we've got a chief exec who makes those decisions for the rich person and isn't as insane as most rich people are.
Yeah, it will be interesting if they did get someone in like that, and to see. I mean, I think the thing with that is I can't see Chansiri working with someone like that. In my opinion, I just don't think it'd work. I think but just butt heads too much. I think CEO would say one thing and Chansiri would be like, "I'm doing it anyway."
Yeah,
that's main reason for me why I think they haven't done that.
Like I said, nut job.
Yeah.
But it's hard to be positive about this new manager coming in when you've constantly got that in the back of your head.
Oh, yeah.
And every time they think things are going well, he has to rear his head and make it about him. Like they've got the first win of the season and he's managed to make it about him.
Yeah.
And he's an egomaniac and he's a nut job.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we've got the first win now then, so we'll have to see what we do with this win then. Are we going to go on a bit of a run, or is it just going to be Rovers has kind of overshadowed it and we're going to lose the next game at 4-0? It's going to be an interesting one. I'm not too sure, to be fair, but it's going to be interesting to see how we do for the rest of the season.
Got QPR, or when's it got QPR?
Rotherham's got QPR.
Yeah. So either way, I just think that they're going to get relegated. It's too late.
Yeah.
Championship's too competitive at the top. With QPR getting a new manager in probably as well, they'll go up. Darren Moore's started to win at Huddersfield now. There's no chance for them.
I think the gap's just.
It's brilliant.
It's a weird one. There's just the gap's so big already. I mean, it's still early days. Like I say, they can bring it back. I don't think they will personally, but yeah, that not even just with Wednesday, with Rotherham and QPR as well. It's weird how it's already kind of shaping up.
More of a chance than the other two because they've made a change now.
Yeah,
and you just never know what they'll bring in. But yeah.
I think with QPR, they've been going downhill for a
long time.
Yeah, I mean, we're going well, and then, like I say, Mickey Beale went to Rangers, and then just never really, we just seemed to tumble down the table. Like, I watched them against Wigan last season, and we just looked awful, to be fair. But anyway, back onto Wednesday. Like I say, it's going to be interesting just to see how they do now, and let's see how they do. Okay, so it's time for your topic that you want to talk about now. What have you got?
I think it's a topic that comes up this time of year, every year.
Right.
Managerial sackings.
Interesting.
There seems to be more and more every October. I mean, look at Rovers last year. It's when we sacked Gary McSheffrey.
Yep.
It's clearly a time where managers are dismissed by the clubs for whatever reason.
Yep.
And I just wondered what you think about that. Is consistency more important, or is it that flash in the pan, quick decision, couple of wins, and then back to shit again?
I think what it is it's obviously a lot of changes are made over the summer, and I think it's kind of that time frame. It's like 2 months from start of the season, and it's when a lot of people are kind of judging like, you've got to give him time at the start of the season. Like I say, a lot got new squads and new ideas, and it's like us with McCann, brand new squad, brand new philosophy, stuff like that. And I think a lot are like, we'll give him time, see how they do, and then if it's not working by, like say, 8 weeks later, then we'll have to make a decision.
Though, like we're still only a third of the way through. It's not enough time to do anything. Imagine if you were given that long in your job. It just isn't how it's just not.
Oh yeah.
And I just think when you look at teams that are more successful, by and large, they are the ones who've had the manager in for longer.
Well,
a bit more consistency, but that just seems to be a dying breed now.
Look at Fergie. It took a long time before he made that implement at United. Like they had a lot of building to do it first few years under Fergie, and that's not months, that's years. Like there were loads of talk of him getting sacked, but we're stuck by him, and they believed in his philosophy, and look where it's got him. But yeah, like you say, it's been a bit of a busy month for sacking. Do you know how many in this last month? Do you know how many managers have been sacked in the EFL?
No.
12. So that's across. So no one got sacked in the Prem. So across Championship, League 1 and League 2. So that's obviously an average of 4 per division. So not in any order. So in last month, we've had Nigel Pearson of Bristol City, Gareth Ainsworth of QPR, Gary Rowett of Millwall, John Eustace of obviously Birmingham City, which we've talked about, Cisco Munoz, who we've also talked about at Sheffield Wednesday, Joey Barton at Bristol Rovers, Mark Kendi at Lincoln, Paul Hurst at Grimsby after the loss to us, Ben Garner at Colchester, Graham Alexander at MK Dons, and Neil Harris at Gillingham. Oh, and I missed out on the bottom of the page, Mark Hughes at Bradford as well. So yeah, it's been a busy time for getting rid of the managers.
There's a few of these sackings that genuinely appalled me.
Yeah.
So there's Gary Rowett at Millwall.
Yeah. Before we go on to the next one, what's your opinion on Rowett? Sorry, so he's kind of punching above his weight a bit. Is it? Yeah. I think we not Rowett, sorry, Millwall, but they have been one of them clubs, like I say, they've kind of yo-yoed a bit between Championship to League 1, and then they've kind of stabilised a bit, and they've kind of been one of them teams that, a bit like Mansfield in League 2, were just kind of like missing out on that playoff spot. And yeah, it seemed a bit of a weird one when they sacked him.
Like, who are they going to get in that's going to do a better job? There's no way.
It seemed like he'd built a bit of...
Like it's hard enough getting Millwall fans on side.
Yeah.
Do you know?
It made him a very hard team to play against. Like a hard team to break down. You know what you're going to get, a tough, physical Millwall team, and especially at the Den as well. It seemed a weird one to me.
Nigel Pearson at Bristol, mental. All their fans are really upset about it as well.
That caught me by surprise because they started well. We've had a few not great results last few games, but that's kind of come out of nowhere for me.
Their owners come out, hasn't he, trying to justify it, and none of the fans are buying it. He did like a video on Twitter, and none of the fans are buying it. Like, it's just bizarre to me. There just needs to be no loyalty. Even Paul Hurst, to an extent, it blows my mind a bit because of what he's done in recent history for the club. Like, you've got to be a bit forgiving sometimes. Like, people have bad runs. Then the other one that blows my mind, which actually is quite good for us, is Neil Harris at Gillingham. They've only today replaced him, and he's been sacked for what, 3-4 weeks?
It seemed a weird one, but I mean, it seemed like a rash decision because you thought if you're going to get rid of Harris, first thing I said when they got rid of Harris, I thought they must have someone in line for it. And like I say, they've just replaced him, and they've since he's got we're doing really well. We're such a good hard team to play against, and just into a tumble down the table.
Crap ever since.
It's a bizarre one.
You know, like you might not play the most attractive brand of football, but it's League 2. If you want to get promoted, winning 1-0 every week isn't a bad thing. You know, it just seems strange.
1-0, like you say. But it's you know, you're not, you know, we're League 2. It's like try and play like Man City with quality players you've got. You know, it's not gonna. It might work for some, but for like I say, 90% of the teams, you know, you're just gonna get shithoused, and you know, you just need a big target man up front, like we got proven with Matt Smith at Salford, who you just lump ball up to. It's not pretty, but it works. What do you make of Mark Hughes been sacked then?
It's actually the only one I feel like makes a bit of sense.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I always thought it was a weird appointment, to be fair, Mark Hughes. When they got him, it was kind of one of them, like, okay, because his last job were in Prem with Southampton, I think.
I remember him coming to the chemo with Stoke.
Yeah, I was going to say that were
Not
interesting time at Stoke. No, but like I say, went to Southampton and then ended up at Bradford.
I think the difference is they've given him time. Like he's been there 3 or 4 seasons, and I feel like he's taken them as far as he can in that he took them to Wembley. But then again, who are they going to get in? They still not got anybody in. That's the thing I'm confused by. It seems like clubs are taking a lot longer to replace managers. I mean, it used to just be Rovers who took 3 months to replace a manager, whereas now it seems a lot more common practice. Like, look at Gillingham, Lincoln still haven't appointed, Bradford, there's a fair few. Even Wednesday, to an extent, was a couple of weeks between Cisco going and this fella coming in. It certainly is interesting to me. The only one that seems to have been really quick is Eustace. Yeah. But that's because they had a big money deal in the bag to replace him with.
They did have someone in line.
Yeah. It's like, things like, it just seems so strange to me, like sacking somebody when you're doing well and not giving anybody time and not being loyal or faithful to people who've done a lot for your club. Like, I felt so sorry for Paul Hurst, the way that they treated him after the Rovers game. Yeah,
that wasn't good. I mean, I will get him. I got a bus back from the Keepmoat, and we'd not even got on the bus when I read on Twitter that Paul Hurst had been sacked.
Yeah, we were still in the car park.
I would say it was less than an hour after kickoff. The Paul Hurst one's a bit of a weird one. I've seen a few at fans. Like I said, I've seen a few of their opinions. It's pretty mixed, to be fair. He's, like I say, he's done so well at Grimsby. I do get it to an extent though, because I've started off poorly. I know, like I say, how well it's done, but sometimes you just need a change. I mean, I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm not saying I disagree with it. I'm not a Grimsby fan, so from an outsider's point of view, it's quite hard to see. It seems harsh from an outsider's point of view, but you never know. Like I say, what's going on at a club when they make these decisions. Right, it's time to talk about our clubs then. Doncaster Rovers, so we're both Doncaster Rovers fans. There we go. We haven't got any more guests on today, although we'll talk about their club as well, but we're just going to talk about Donny today, seeing as though we're both Doncaster Rovers fans. So
the only news that really matters.
Exactly. So we'll go to our most recent game first, which was last Saturday, where we played Grimsby Town. We won 1-0 at home thanks to a Joe Ironside penalty around the 70th minute. I did vlog that, so if you want to see it, it is just 2 videos back, and I'll probably link it somewhere in here as well. What did you think of the performance?
It wasn't as good as Tuesday against Salford, but it don't matter because we won, and it was a convincing win in a sense because we had the only real decent chance of the game in that penalty. Kyle Hurst coming back and immediately creating a goal through getting fouled in the box is exactly what I wanted from him, and it made me very happy because I love Kyle Hurst, and I feel like him under Grant McCann is going to be a whole new player, and he was our best player last season, so that's exciting. And you say it was a better performance on Tuesday than on Saturday. We actually lost 3-0 for those who don't know on Tuesday, but yeah, we did play better on the Saturday, on the Tuesday than the Saturday. We could get the in between both boxes from the Salford game and the play in both boxes from the Grimsby game and put them into 90 minutes. The perfect performance. I thought, like I say, Saturday it weren't the best of games. It weren't a pretty game to watch. Like I say, I think we were 3 chances all game. It was a derby though, so you've got to allow for it.
No, I'm going to say it's a derby, so it's going to be a bit tenser and a bit more
scrappy.
Yeah, a bit scrappier. But it's we weren't bad by any sense of imagination, but it just weren't amazing to watch. I think it was a pretty even game, to be fair. I thought Grimsby started with a better team, but we kind of grew into the game. And then once got that penalty, they had a few chances, but I thought we looked pretty comfortable, to be fair. And we probably should have scored another, especially, like I say, the header from foul where he missed from 2 yards.
We didn't see that because someone decided to leave at that moment and stood up in front of us. So I have no idea what that goal was like, but that chance was like. I was going to say, it didn't feel like we were hanging on. Normally when you're 1-0 up, you get 1-0 up on like 70-ish minutes. I'm normally really stressed out because I feel like we're going to concede, but I didn't feel that. Yeah,
same here. It's weird because, really like I say, they went for it as well. I mean, we didn't really get any clear-cut chances, but we were pushing for it. But you just felt like we were going to win it.
Yeah, I just think the confidence in the group is so high that I think it does only get better from here.
Definitely. And interesting thing is we've got some FA Cup action coming up this weekend, which will be tomorrow when you're watching this. We've got Accrington Stanley at home in the first round, so it's a bit of a weird draw, to be fair. It's a tough one.
It's a shit draw.
Like I say, same league, but not. You won't imagine they'll bring a lot of fans. Like you say, it's
crap. It's not lucrative, is it? It's not giving you any of the benefits that the FA Cup first round normally gives clubs of our size.
I was gonna say. I would have loved someone like Worksop Town, or
that's who I want.
Or someone a bit lower down, just to, especially away from home, like you say.
You say that though, Kings Lynn last season was not a fun experience for anybody.
It wasn't. It wasn't. But like I say, if one of them clubs, I want them away. But but yeah, I'm gonna say that were one of the. I'd have took Worksop, but out of non-league ones, I didn't want them because it's a potential Bananas King. They're playing well at the minute.
I wanted him. I think it would have been a great day out. We'd have had a great time.
Oh, it would have been. But
I have to try and think about the FA Cup first round.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I wanted Oldham away. That's my dream, Ty.
Yep.
Oldham away reminds me of the FA Cup first round because there was that period in our history where we drew them every year.
Texas, Oldham away in FA Cup. Yeah, exactly. I've actually never been to Oldham as well. I know.
Adam has this thing where he's never been to grounds that Rovers have played 1,000 times.
It's weird. It
blows my mind.
I mean, believe it or not, I do a lot of Rovers content now. I've only, in the last 2 seasons, kind of started going to the away games. I went to a few when we were in Championship, to the local ones. It's like Barnes, the Wednesday, Sheffield United, teams like that. But it's only kind of been post-COVID. I've been going to the away games.
Yeah.
And it's been been kind of playing catch up ever since. So
I went to my first away game in July 2000 in my pushchair.
Yeah.
Goal AFC.
Nice.
Very slight difference, but
Lovely.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to talk about with Rovers as well is the Accrington game, because I think it's such a nothing game. If we win, we win. If we don't, we don't. It'd be nice to have a cup run, but at the end of the day, I'd rather focus on trying to get in the playoffs and get promoted. That's just me. The other thing that I think is newsworthy is the Prostate United Challenge.
Oh, definitely. Go on, I'll let you explain about that.
So for those who don't know, football clubs around England run 5k or cycle 5k or walk 5k every day throughout October, 31 days. They used to do it in November, but the weather was too crap. November is usually Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Yeah. But the weather was too crap in November, so they moved it forward a month. Grant McCann and Cliff Byrne have done it for the last 3 or 4 seasons at Hull and Peterborough, and both times have raised quite a lot of money, getting all the staff involved, and they've done the same at Rovers, from the catering to Gavin Baldwin, the CEO. All the staff have been involved doing it and raised the most money in the whole country, double what Manchester United raised, who came second, £14,500.
That's amazing.
And I think not only is it a great feat, it really showcases how far our football club has come in the last year. Yeah, even 6 months since Grant McCann came back. Yeah,
I've really noticed that. I mean, what I've really noticed personally with supporting Rovers, especially since coming out of COVID and been more involved with Rovers. First few seasons, like you say, from getting relegated to League One, then first season, last season in League Two, it just seems so divided. Just from everyone, from the management to the players to the guys at the top to the fans, there seemed a lot of division between everyone. Whereas since kind of the end of last season with Schofield going, as soon as Schofield went, and you kind of had this sense that McCann, there's a possibility McCann could actually come back, and then when it did come back, it just united everyone. You could tell the players were excited to play under him. The fans were excited. Guys at the top were actually, things seemed okay up there. Yeah. And obviously with management, like I say, he's brought in Cliff Byrne. I know that's been a big problem where the actual managers haven't been able to pick their assistants, have been given, like I say, Paul Green and Chad. Yep. So, whereas this season, like you say, management team are happy, players are happy playing under him, fans worship McCann. Guys at the top seem happier than ever.
He's got a good relationship even with David Blunt.
It's just, it's just everything that's the thing as one, because it feeds from the top as well. And like I say, either guys at the top to be happy, or it's going to filter all the way down to the fans.
One of the most excited I've felt about football in a really long time was the day that Grant McCann was announced coming back.
Oh, yeah.
We were at the hotel for the supporters club dinner dance, if you remember, and the excitement in the whole of the dinner dance room.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind we'd had our lowest finish in 20 odd seasons, like in my life, other than when we, in the league, the fan base was suddenly giddy again and happy again, and it's almost like we've got such short memories, haven't we? Because suddenly we're so happy again.
I'm going to say, I don't know about you, but after Walsall away, it just felt like the club you fell in love with just weren't there anymore. And then, like I say, a lot kind of escalated from that. Schofield got sacked the day after. And then you kind of felt like, in my opinion, it was kind of a bit like, all right, Schofield's gone. But we said the same thing when Sheffield left. So we've got to make the right appointment. It's pointless getting rid of him if you're just going to bring someone else in who's
Well, that's why I was
not good
getting
enough.
rid of McSheffrey, because I knew we'd bring in someone who was worse. And we did.
I think it would time. In my opinion, with that, I think with McSheffrey, I think it was the right decision to get rid of him. I just think it was a wrong appointment to put Danny Schofield in charge. I think it was just the wrong decision. I mean, it's one of them though. We didn't know. I don't blame appointing him because it was unproven. He'd only really been at Huddersfield and that was one job. Whereas, like you say, it turned out not to be the right one, but we've got McCann now. Things are looking good. And we move on. We move forward. So, I'm going to say exciting times. It's going to be an interesting one to see how we do these next few months because, like I say, I think we're 6th at minute in form table.
Yeah. We've got an easy-ish run as well, really. I mean, we've got in the league, Wimbledon, who are just starting to fall off.
Yeah.
Crewe will be a difficult game. Walsall should be a relatively easy fixture. The run, what I'm trying to say, badly, is the run we've got now is considerably less difficult than our first 10 games.
Well, I'm going to say we've played
everybody in the top half pretty much.
We've played all the teams you'd expect to be there or thereabouts or who started in really good form. And
we've played well against a lot of them despite not getting results. So
so it's going to be interesting from now just to see how we do.
Going to get promoted, heard it first.
One game at a time.
We're only 6 points off playoffs.
Oh yeah, I know.
9 points off automatic. It's 3 wins.
I know. Oh no, I'm saying positive, but it's one of them. It can quickly change either way. It's one of them.
That's the best thing about football.
I'm staying optimistic, but we'll have to wait and see. Right, now it's time for something different. So basically what we're going to do here is we've got something just that's not kind of like, probably you might not have heard of, something that'd be a bit funny, something just out of the blue that's not like your main headlines or something big, just to bring up and discuss if we want to. So for mine, it is ex-Sheffield United goalkeeper Paddy Kenny is now manager at Goal in the Northern Counties East League Premier Division. This probably be a topic I talk about quite a bit, but like non-league, local non-league, because I love it personally. But went to see him last night. Like I say, that video was the last one on the channel if you want to go and have a look. But it's an interesting one because like you say, you're
what a character.
I'm going to say you hear these it's a bit like Curtis Woodhouse going to Gainsborough and stuff like that. It's like you hear these people going to manage at non-league who's never managed before, especially when they're like interesting characters. So I just thought it was an interesting one because, like I say, I see him on Twitter all the time, and I think it's going to be interesting how they do. We've won the first 2 games, like I say, and pretty convincingly as well. So
I think if you support a team like Goal, getting someone like Paddy Kenny in is so exciting.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's like getting somebody in who's a bit of a legend in their own right.
Yeah,
is an exciting thing to happen to anyone. It's like when Leo Fortune West managed Armford Welfare.
I'm going to say,
that's the one that always sticks in my mind. People got so excited about that.
Yeah, it's like I say, it's one of them because people are going to be knowing like around Goal, people who might not know anything about the football team Goal might go and watch Haaland teams like or Scunthorpe and teams like that, and might be like, oh, Paddy Kenny's managing my local team now. We might go and watch them on Saturday or Tuesday night instead. And it's going to bring more people in, and it's going to be interesting to see how they do. Like I say, a team that's been struggling a bit this year. So game before they lost 8-0 at home to Frickley, which were a game that saw the management team before get sacked. So we're doing a bit better than that at the minute. So like I say, it's going to be interesting to see if I can keep that run going. Right, okay, so that's my something interesting. So, what is your something interesting?
It's something for everybody's diaries. Oh.
Yeah, you're
It's the Ballon Dor coming next week.
Oh.
The most exciting date in the Doncaster Rovers fan calendar.
Bigger than the Ballon d'Or.
Which will get to Wembley and this will still be more exciting.
Not biased. Not voted for by players. It's just
for the fans.
For the fans, from the fans.
I'm sure there's some players who vote in it as well.
Oh, yeah, of course there are. Without saying too much, we know there's players who vote in it. So, yeah.
I think there's a lot of love for them. I mean, Grant McCann quote tweeted the out of context Chal account last month with a Chal. He said, "Yeah, absolutely," which is like his special line. Bless him, Aaron Challoner.
I really hope that were on purpose. It was on purpose.
It was definitely on purpose.
Players all been. I bet players were egging him on in the dressing room, like reply with "Yeah, absolutely," but don't put "Yeah." Put "Yeah." Don't make it too obvious.
It was amazing. It made my week. And the Ballon d'Or is just gives me like a warm fuzzy feeling because last season when the first Ballon d'Or, the inaugural Ballon d'Or was as such, Rovers were rock fucking bottom.
Just like what we said like earlier about has been divided.
It united the fans.
Exactly.
Everybody was just like, it was this weird like week period in the month of November when nobody was arguing with each other. No. Everybody was just happy and voting for their favourite clip of Aaron Challoner, and I think the other reason is because we were just getting together at the time, so we just started going out. So like I have like this like really fond like feeling about the Ballon d'Or, and I'm so excited for next week. Like I just know it's going to take over my life like it did last year, and I'm so excited. Anybody who doesn't follow Out of Context Chal on Twitter, give it a follow. You don't have to be a Donny fan to enjoy the content. It is top notch, so good, worth every second of time wasted both making the content and consuming the content.
Wasted? Nah, we're not wasted.
Yeah,
nah.
Well, tell that to my boss.
Whoever Out of Context Chal is just, I say put it on his CV, but I give him away. So I'm going to say it's on your CV for life, but yeah, or her, you never know.
It also makes me laugh because once again it makes the Rovers media team look so amateur compared to. Bless Liam Odom, but he must look at the stuff that they put out and think, God, I wish he worked for me because that is brilliant. That is genius.
It's so good.
Some of the stuff has had me crying. That Danny Schofield video with the high vis. That's like an all-time highlight for me. Amazing.
That is amazing.
An excellent date for your diaries, everybody. Get yourself to Ballon d'Or. Mean that badge to you.
Exactly. I'm interested as well to see. I am dragging this on with Ballon d'Or, I know, but I am interested to see. It's got a date, 6th of November. Last time, I know it were on World Cup run, so I'm wondering, is it going to be like a one-night event or?
Is it going to be the same format?
I don't think it will, because I reckon it's just going to be a one-night event.
I think
there's so many questions.
They've got an ace up the sleeves always.
Oh yeah, there's always
It's great. The excitement, as you can see, this is the most exciting news out of everything we talked about.
So many questions.
I care so much.
How's it going to go? Is there going to be any more acts? Is like I say, who did we have last time? Aaron Taylor Swift or something like that?
Taylor Swift, it might have been,
I think of Aaron Taylor Swift, and obviously John Parr made his comeback. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, walking into the darkness.
Maybe she'll do Bad Blunt again. No, she's so famous.
She's re-recording her album, so maybe this is
Blunt.
the next one. Yeah. But anyway, Ballon d'Or, 6th of November.
Be there. Or be square.
Exactly. Okay, it's time for the final segment now, so we've got Debate This. So this is basically where we've come up with either a question for the other guests, or just for one guest today, or a topic to debate, or whatever we want to do. So I've got a question for Lizzie, and she's got a topic, a question, whatever you want to call it. For me, we don't know what each other said, so we have no idea what we're going to ask each other. So it's kind of on the spot a bit, and we'll see how we do. So I'll ask my question first then. So for me, basically, let's say it's your first year supporting Doncaster Rovers last season. So you've never, like I say, you started going like in 2000s in your pushchair, and you've been supporting them for the last 23 years or so. Mm-hmm. Let's say the last season, similar age, or like, how old are we at first season you remember?
7 or 8.
7 or 8. Let's say you're a 7-year-old girl then, and last season, we finished 18th in League 2, was your first full season watching Doncaster Rovers. Do you think, say you've had no experience with him in past, you know nothing about him before that season, do you think after that season you'd have carried on supporting Rovers?
Okay, I'm going to speak very personally. My answer is yes.
Okay.
Because I would presume that my dad was still taking me to games. And when I was little, I didn't understand if we were winning or losing. I just liked spending Saturdays with my dad. And I liked the community and my family being there and everybody being together. And it's those things that you remember more than the results. I mean, like, I was going to games pretty much my whole life. I mean, I know I watched a lot of the games in sort of the early 2000s at Bellevue.
Yeah.
But what I remember more is like the time Greg Blundell said hello to me when he was warming up, or like, you know, seeing Leo Fortune West running around Lakeside, and those kinds of things are things that I remember. Not really the performances on the pitch. I think when you're little, that's not what you think about. And the reason I use that example is our friend's granddaughter, Evie, Paul Mayfield's granddaughter, for those who know him, she loves coming to football. We've been rubbish every game she's been to, you know. She's seen some of her worst performances in my life. But she loves it because she gets to hang out with her granddad and all of her friends and all of her Rovers family. And that's what football's about for me. That's what your local club should be about. And I think it's different if you're not supporting the team that's in your blood, in your family, perhaps. Yeah. But I don't think there was ever a world, no matter how my first season panned out, where I still wouldn't be doing this at 24. Yeah.
No, I like that, to be fair. Yeah. So even like, say, like, even as a child, like you say, like you had Tom Anderson giving you a middle finger. Tranmere.
Well, I wouldn't know what that meant anyway.
No.
But like, it doesn't matter. Like, some, you know, even when we had the experiment season, and I would have been 11 then, 12 maybe. I still just felt like it's a bit rubbish. This, like, it's not going very well. There's clearly a lot of chaos, but I'm having a good time. I'm traveling. I'm traveling the country with my family, you know, and it's a nice way to spend your Saturdays. And I think when you're a kid, that's what you think about, not what you. Yeah. I guess it's different if you're a grown up. Yeah. What about you?
I tell you what, I've been struggling. Because
your dad's not really a Donny fan.
I've been struggling to think of that myself, answer this myself, because I were extremely lucky the kind of the first few seasons watching Rovers. First year I ever went, we moved into the new stadium. So I started in 2007. So we moved into the new stadium and went to Millennium Stadium in Cardiff, won the Johnson's Bay Trophy, which is now Papa John's Trophy. A lot better back then. Season after, we beat Leeds at Wembley in playoff final to go up to the Championship, and then we had 4 years in the Championship. Like I say, playing against some of the best teams who have been in the Prem. You know, it was just, I think the league's better now, but it was just such a good league. And I don't know, it's so hard to answer this, because, like I say, it's an interesting one, because it's always been like me and my dad and my uncle. My uncle were going at the time. And I did like that. And to be fair, first match at the Keep Mill, as it was called back then, we won 3-0. And then my dad was like, do you want to go to the next game? We're playing a good team. We're playing like one of the best teams in the league, which at the time, we played Bolton Wanderers in the third round at FA Cup. And they beat us 4-0. And I was kind of like, yeah, I'll go again. And like I say, we had kind of sell-out stadiums. Bolton had sold out, Huddersfield had sold out, so the stadium was full. And then next one, we were Tuesday night against Darlington in Johnson's Bay semi-final. Won 2-0. It was a bit emptier, like half full. Yeah, still like coming. And then, like you say, we've had a mixture of wins, losses, crowds going down because the hype at new stadium had gone. So I'd probably say yeah, to be fair. Because like I say, even though I had a lot of highs, I'd seen us win, I'd seen us lose, like get absolutely thrashed. I'd seen quite a lot of, I'd seen fans getting kicked out and stuff like that. I'd seen most of the stuff you see at football in that first 6 months, half a season supporting them, even though we did have that massive win. So for me, I think I probably still would have gone.
Yeah, I think it's about so much more than football. Football isn't why you choose your football club. It's so much bigger and deeper than that. Well, it certainly is for me.
Yeah, definitely.
So, my question for you is...
Okay.
Before the season started, there were lots of changes made to the rules of the game with regards to keeping the ball in play, adding time on at the end, booking players more for kicking the ball away or dissent, time wasting.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a two-parter. Number one,
right.
Do you think that it's working? Do you think people are still following those rules? Or do you think people have already started to stop adhering to them strongly? Okay. Number two, do you think it's improved the standard of the games and the refereeing, or do you think it's made it worse?
Interesting. That's a tough one.
Thanks.
Right, so first part, do you think players are following rules more? That kind of what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you think it's actually, because I find, if you want me to sort of elaborate, I find that the first couple of games, they were adding 10 minutes on.
Yeah.
At half time, 10 minutes on at the end.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't seen more than 6 minutes probably in the last 7 or 8 games.
Yeah.
I think they're just stopping doing it.
Yeah. I think personally I have a bit more common sense. I think at first, when a new rule comes in, everyone follows it by the book. And then, like I say, once you get a bit more used to playing by them rules, you kind of loosen the reins a bit and you kind of use a bit more common sense. I think that's kind of what's happening here. I think refs aren't kind of... If it's like, plain obvious, then, yeah, they're gonna enforce it. But then if it's just something daft and just like very little, I think they're kind of just like letting it slide a bit. I think we're kind of using a bit of common sense. And what was the second part to the question?
Do you think it's improved the entertainment factor of the games and the standard of refereeing?
To be honest, after the first few games, I've not really seen much of a difference. I think
you just got bored of doing it.
Yeah,
it's so weird.
I think with refs, it's been a bit of a weird one because a lot of it. Sometimes I think common sense. I know I said a lot of it's common sense. I think sometimes it's more common sense goes out the window with some of the decisions. Not for time wasting, but like for kicking the ball away. Some you play to whistle. I've seen some like when we were at goal last night. They literally kick the ball away as they were blowing the whistle, and they got a yellow card. It's like you play to whistle. You're not just going to freeze because the ref's blowing his whistle. It's there's got to be some common sense to it. In terms of entertainment value, I don't really think it's changed that much, to be fair. I just think we're getting a bit more... Like, at the start, we were getting a bit more football, but now I think it's kind of evened out a bit now. And a lot more... It's not hard to explain, but I think it's kind of going a bit more back to how it were, but they've been a bit stricter with, like, your time-wasting rules, if that makes sense. With the yellow cards. I don't think we've been as strict with adding time on, but I think we've been a bit more strict with yellow cards. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Right?
Before the season started, they were talking about, you basically played an extra 10 games worth of injury time. Well, that just hasn't happened since like game 2 of the season.
Yeah.
Like I can think of 2 games where they added more than sort of 7 or 8 minutes on, and that were the first game at Harrogate and Hull in the cup, and it just has stopped now. Like I haven't seen an over 10 minutes added on. Yeah. And it hasn't really anywhere.
No.
And I think the standard of refereeing is way worse this season than it was last season.
I think we're getting a lot more card happy. That's what I was trying to say earlier. I think they're finding a lot more excuse. I think they're a lot. It's not just playing. I think they're a lot more card happy. I think they're kind of like almost looking for excuses to book them. It feels like you look at the ref the wrong way, you're gonna get a booking kind of.
Yeah.
Right. So that concludes the end of his first episode of Friday Football Fix. So we gave you a good football fix to take in to the weekend and enjoy this weekend of football. Like I say, we've got Accrington Stanley in the cup. So if you're off to a match, let us know in the comments where you are going. If you could share this around, like I say, we are trying to build this up. It's the first episode. So like I say, we're going to try and get some guests on. So for the next episode, we might have a guest. We might not. We'll see how we do. So in the meantime, like I say, if you like this, please like and subscribe. I've got Matchday Vlogs on their channel as well. And we're going to have these every Friday at 6 o'clock. So keep an eye out for them to get your football fix. But like I say, anything you feel like, you might want us to talk about in the next episode, or anything we could add, just let us know in the comments. But yep, how do you think that went? Good? Lovely. Right, so like I say, we're going to end it there then. So thanks a lot for watching, take care, and we'll see you in next week's show. Bye.